So, hey guys, Rob Edwards' pre-Villa press conference has just taken place. It's going to have all the details on the latest injury news as well, and all the details ahead of Villa, including his thoughts. It was quite a big press conference today. Normally there's just a couple of journalists asking questions for the TV side of things, but there was 4 today, so there's a lot to get into. It started off by asking about injuries, so we're going to cover that off for you first. He said that Matt Doherty is back on the grass training. It's today, actually, he said, but it's probably going to come too soon for him for Villa, but as another day, because obviously we play on Sunday, so we'll see how we go with that. Dan Bentley is going to be out for a few weeks, and he said, other than that, a few bumps and bruises. They have a fairly healthy squad. He did say that Tulu, because it was later on in the thing, was asked about the 2 strikers working together. He said Jurgen's in good shape now, but Tulu probably needs a few more minutes. Again, he's still getting up to full fitness. So whether he starts or not, don't expect him to play the 90. He's also asked about how it's been because it's his first full week. He said it's been a lot more smoother, been a lot more consistency, as last week, of course, was very bitty because they started with a small number and then gradually as the international players came back, they come back. So he said that was very, very bitty. He was asked about the survival rate. He said doesn't look at that, although the latest Opta stats have Wolves at 97% certain to be relegated. He said it's got realism. It's a difficult situation, and we've got to concentrate on what we do each day. He was asked about belief and morale. He said it's interesting. The players have spoken to him about that as well. And belief is something that we have to find ourselves within the group. He was saying, and getting wins on the board and earning points is going to definitely help towards that. Of course, he was asked about Aston Villa and the derby, and he was asked about derbies with so many players from all over the globe. For each player, how much it means. He said, look, they're from Earth, they have a pride and passion. They have derbies from where they come from. They understand what a derby is. Then he went on to make a little bit of a jest, which everyone laughed at. He said, well, some elite players, you think they might be aliens because they're so good. And that got a bit of a laugh. He was in good spirits, actually. He had a smile on his face. He said he was looking forward to the game. He was asked about the attitude of the players. He said they've been really, really good. They've been taking on board what they've been saying. And he was asked about what they'd learned from the Crystal Palace game. He said everything from top to bottom. He said there were positives from the Palace game. Looking at the physical data, the sprint distance and high intensity, he said the running was good, but the big stat is obviously scoring goals, and they need to cover the pitch better. He said they're asked about green shoots. He said they're seeing a belief in the players that things need to change. There's not been any resistance from the players, so that's been encouraging. Again, he was talking about was asked about the 2 strikers, when they consider peak, which is where it came in the Tolo thing. It might take a little bit longer, he said, to reach his peak. And then, of course, he was asked about Unai Emery, the manager of Aston Villa. He said he's an incredible manager. We've got to... got a lot of respect for him in the game for what he's achieved. And he was asked about the tactics for Villa. And he said, well, he doesn't really want to go into giving too much away, but he's got to try and turn their strengths into weaknesses. But he said, of course, everyone does that, tries to do that. Aston Villa, he said recently, have got a great home record. They've won something like 6 or 7 home games on the bounce at Villa Park in a row. So, of course, it's going to be difficult. We touched on the derby, and he said we've got a lot of passionate players that really do care, that want to fight for the shirt. And he thinks they, of course, they showed some of that against Palace, even though we lost. He said the players are very good at listening, and there's lots of ways for them to learn in different ways they put things across. He said whether that's on the grass or him doing his best Monday Night Football when he's writing on whiteboards and things like that was quite amusing. And then, of course, he was asked about the support staff as well, because, of course, you know, he's come in, he's brought in a couple of extra support staff. One's fairly young, one's very, very experienced. And he was asked about when the support team, his support team, is going to be in place. He said they're still working on a couple. One of the interesting things that he said, I don't feel we need as big a team as that's been here previously. We know that, you know, previous managers have had quite an entourage. I mean, Vitor Pereira in his first year brought in a staff, and then he brought in two more, didn't he, during the summer, and then Domenico Tetti, who was the technical director for a short while. He obviously went not long after Vitor Pereira went. So he said that's something that they're still working on. As I say, there's quite a bit of the press. Obviously, it's a West Midlands derby. Aston Villa are going incredibly well in the Premier League, of course. And, you know, it's going to be... Rob was acknowledging it's going to be a tough game. He said there's a lot of realism around, obviously in a difficult situation, but he's not looking at how unlikely it is for Wolves to survive. He said the main thing really is to try and get, you know, performances, how they work hard day to day, consistency, and working on what he's trying to achieve, whether that's, you know, as I say, in the tactics room or on the grass, putting them where they want. And obviously converting chances is going to be absolutely key to what he's trying to achieve. It's, you know, it's an interesting one because, as I say, he's had a full week. Last week against Crystal Palace, of course, you know, you saw a lot of, I think you saw a lot of huff and puff, and they tried and the work rate was there. But, I mean, ultimately, they, like, as what has happened so many times this season, we've ultimately lost the game. And Palace are going great guns, and Villa are in red-hot form at the moment. So they're going to be going into the game absolutely red-hot favourites. But the thing that came out for me is that Rob's not even worrying about all of that. He's got his reset. He's had a week on the pitch. And I think we'll learn a lot more about how he's setting up this week against Aston Villa than we did last week against Palace, because it's the first week he's had the whole team together. So it'd be interesting to see what that team is when it comes out and how he's going to try and get a result against Aston Villa. The press conference, of course, will be out tomorrow with my dad, Magic Moss, being back. Leave your thoughts on the press conference in the comment section below. Please like and hype the video if you would. And until the next one, always Wolves. Loads coming up, of course, as always, after the game as well. Instant reaction to the performance and the result. So hit that subscribe button. Always Wolves.